Hello and welcome to another episode of Wicked Parley, a pre-recording. A pre-recording that we are getting really tired of doing. Hopefully this won't Hopefully this won't be too long. I'm your host, Justin, and it is all fine. And the lovely co-host, Rose.
Hello.
Of course. I'm really getting tired of these pre-records. I can't wait to shift to the new format, guys. By the time you see this...
Soon.
So by the time you see this... We'll be in primed position to start a whole new way of presenting the show. A way in which I hope that you guys will all enjoy. What the heck are you doing? Oh my God. Okay, alright. Well, yeah, I get it. I just... Okay, anyways. So tonight's episode is going to be... once again, another article that we found, which we thought was particularly interesting. And this particular subject is awesome because it means that there might be, something to music and the potential help it might have for people who are suffering from dementia and other brain-related injuries and having to deal with memorization and other things like that. So let's discover what this article has to say together.
Yeah, let's go.
And hopefully my dumb commentary and my ability to speak, English, might
English,
be
motherfucker, do you speak it?
kind of important. So
Hopefully. We can only pray.
Yeah.
All
All right. In conversation, investigating the power of music for dementia. Music can help. Written by Yasmin Nicola Sake. I don't know.
What did I just say?
I say K. I can't speak English very good right now. Sorry about that.
I don't think that name is English, so.
It's not English, but I don't know. And it's fact checked by Hillary Guat or Git. You know what? Screw it. Let's go into the article. Music can help people with dementia recover some aspects of their memory. Isn't that lovely? I like the idea of that. Feel calmer and boost their mood. And evidence of this is growing each day. I really like this. I'm so very happy that Rose found this article. Because, this is a nice one. Because, as we all get older, we're always worried about missing those important chunks of the brain, that part of that makes you who you are. And to know that maybe music has something to do with it makes me all the more happy. And also I value my mind and I don't want to lose it, of which I'm losing it every single day. Little by little. Anyways, back to the story. Back to the thing.
Just scream.
Well, actually, before we do that, Rose, do you actually, I'm assuming because this is a good thing, that you're pretty happy about this. Do you know?
I already have memory issues.
Do you want to share with the audience what you call yourself often?
Which one? Because I've got over 50 nicknames for myself, so I never know which one people are. Ah, yes, I've got the memory of a potato.
Yeah, it makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Potato.
Potato. All right.
They make good French fries?
Perhaps. Maybe you need to listen to more music. That way your brain will remember things more. Hopefully. However, what is it about music that has such a profound effect on our brains? And is this effect long-lasting? These are both great questions.
I would like to know.
My guess is that our brains link sounds with memory. And so if you do something and there's sound associated with it, even if you can't remember the something, you can probably remember the sound, and by being able to remember the sound, you can slowly recall everything else. That's my theory.
That's one way my high school math teacher got us to remember the quadratic formula.
Oh, okay.
They put it to a birthday jingle.
Oh, dear God. Do you recall it?
Yes.
You should do it right now.
Right now?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Calling you out.
Right. Okay. So, should I just go ahead and pull up
off the top of your head. No? Off the top of your head, potato.
X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Well, that's certainly one way to remember things. And now, everyone out there on the internet, you now have a recording of this particular jingle. Use it as a way of whenever you receive a text message, you can remember the equation too. Oh my god. That might get stuck in my head. Don't sing it anymore. I don't want to remember. Oh no. All right. And the other thing is that I wonder if I think the effect's got to be long lasting. I have to imagine it kind of goes deep in the brain, but hopefully the article will go in enough in depth for us to discover if my hunch is correct.
Yeah, let's go.
And I'll be 1,000%. I did not read this in advance. I don't know what the fuck this is going to say.
All right.
Okay. You might have come across a video of an older person with dementia where a particular piece of music makes them sway to the music, bringing back a flood of memories. Or, despite not remembering their family members, they start playing the notes to a song they used to know on piano or violin. That's fucking wild. Like, that is just crazy.
It's like, oh yeah, you don't know this, you don't know that, but you know how to do that.
Like, I don't know the wife I've been married to for 30 years or the children I had, but you know what? I know this piano piece.
I know this.
I know this. That makes me sad and also curious at the same time.
With your whole, like, I don't know the wife I've been married to for like 30 years, but you remember a song? Imagine if it was like their wedding song.
Oh, see, that would just be like heartbreaking. Like, I would be like,
It's
oh
like,
my god, talk about pulling at the heartstrings.
Literally.
All right,
Literally would die.
I know, really though. This phenomena is what leaves many people puzzled about the neurological disorder that is dementia. How can someone forget their own children's names, but remember something as complex as classical pieces of music? Well, I mean, if you build a Lego house and you take half the Lego house, you still have half the Lego house. I mean, how many of the Lego houses, how much of the Lego house do you need to have to know it's a Lego house?
It's a Lego ruin at this point.
True, but it was once a house.
It was once a house.
It was once a house.
That
question was one of the many we aim to seek an answer to in our April podcast, in conversation investigating the power of music for dementia. Joining the conversation this month were Dr. Kelly. Okay, fuck your last name.
Jakubowski.
Okay, that just reminds me of Mike Wazowski, from like.
That's what I was
Monsters,
basing it off of.
You know what?
It looks like it.
It kind of does. Assistant professor in music psychology at Durham University. Man, that must be a nice gig. Music psychology. I want to study some music psychology. And Beat Wolf, singer, songwriter, and ambassador for the charity Music for Dementia. Okay, I mean, hey, you know what? That's cool. There's like a charity and stuff. And if you're interested in listening to the entire, little interview and conversation, you can, of course, look at this particular link and then click on this and you can hear the whole thing. But we're going to just, not. Because we have our own podcast. You should pay attention to us. And soon we will be on some of these particular things. How music aids health. Whether lyrical or instrumental, music is a creative combination of rhythm, harmony, and the expression of emotions. Numerous studies can also attest to its many health benefits. That's fascinating. I was actually discussing something similar to this with friends not too long ago. I would say like the last 6 years or so, I've really had an opportunity to explore myself a little bit and explore some of the things I like and dislike pertaining to music. And I had come to a realization about it that I'm pretty sure everyone probably has. I might be stupid, so I'm I'm behind the ball on this. Apologize. But I actually think that a lot of music, each genre, kind of like connects itself intimately to a specific emotion. I mean, I think that like you can have songs that elicit multiple emotions, so it could be in multiple kinds of things. But I think that like a lot of music kind of like makes me specifically have certain kinds of emotions, like obviously, there's like the slow romantic music, which is kind of like can be put in that way. You can have like fast, like heavy metal, and so that gets you kind of like intense, maybe rage almost. And then there's like the calm, melodic kind of music. You might hear that's kind of like soothing and calming. And then there's all sorts of different things. And like I feel like I really like the idea that they mentioned the whole emotional thing, because I think that serves a necessary function, and I think it has to be detached from other forms of cognition. But what do you think about that? I mean, I know it's kind of like a wild thing. I'm just saying right there a little bit.
I mean, I do agree that like certain songs elicit certain emotions, because it's like I know that if I'm in certain moods, I will only listen to certain genres of music.
Mm-hmm.
Or like it's like I'm literally in the car, it's just like listening to my Spotify, and I'm just like, it's like, okay, I'm in the mood for this. Here's the beginning of a song. Oh heck no, not in the mood for that.
Okay.
It's like no. Same thing happens whether it's in the car or for studying. It's just like, oh yeah, I can study to this. Oh no, I'm gonna fall asleep to that.
Yeah, I can definitely relate. Also, nice low key endorsement of Spotify. No. Apple Music forever. Anyways, a 2013 study, for example, found that music can have a relaxing effect prior to stressful situations and help the nervous system recover quickly. I think that's definitely important. For anybody who regularly, has a really laborious or stressful job, I highly encourage, on your commute to work, or before work, if you're getting ready, listen to some music. Doesn't matter what it is, just something that you find pleasant to hear, because that is a very well researched thing about how it basically reduces cortisol levels, and allows you to get some dopamine hits, which can really give you a bit of a boost, especially if you're going into something that's like just totally just bullshit. So yeah,
fair enough.
Heavily encourage that. Okay, where was I? Let's see here. I believe it's beside its physiological benefits, researchers...
You missed a sentence.
I did miss a sentence, didn't I? Yes.
Yeah.
Another study from the same year found that listening to music helps reduce pain and anxiety for children in hospital. Yeah, that was the study that I remember hearing about. Oh, I think it's one of the ones I saw. Because there was like 4 that I remember looking at. Anyways, but yeah. Okay, so besides its physiological benefit, research has also found evidence of music's positive impact on cognitive health. All the things I've already said. But hey, these are good things. Good information to take a hold, because I definitely think taking your health seriously and understanding that your psychology plays a big impact on everything. Everything is interconnected. So don't think that, I'm eating healthy, so I must be being healthy. It's like, if you eat healthy but you don't exercise, well, guess what? You're fucked. Same is true if you...
take good care of your brain.
Indeed, you got to make sure you get lots of sleep. You got a lot of recovery time. You got to do a lot of things to make sure you're okay. And so, this is definitely one of those things. And so I think it's interesting to see how music is, intimately connected to these things. All right. A recent study suggested that practicing and actively listening to music may help slow the decline of cognitive function in people ages 62 to 78. I've heard a long time ago that one of the ways in which you can, stay active, or at least try to have good cognitive function, is to exercise and use puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious if anyone who watches this, who finds themselves in this age category, would leave a comment and say, hey, what do you do to stimulate cognitive function? Because I think that would be interesting to read and hear about, or if someone who's watching this knows someone who's in that age group and would like to ask them on our behalf and then leave it in the comment section, I would be really interested to see what different people do to, stay, healthy and active and everything, because we're all going to get there someday. Or actually, okay, hopefully most of us get there someday. I know some people, plane crashes do happen, car crashes do happen, boats sink.
I like how the first one was a plane.
a rock from God.
Rock from God.
You know, like, there are a lot of ways in which we might find ourselves in an early, 6 feet under the ground situation or worse. But most of us hopefully make it to those age ranges before something like that might happen. And why do you care about the whole flight thing?
Huh?
Why do you?
That's just funny that of all the vehicles of transport, you chose a plane immediately. Like, I was thinking car.
Honestly, I think a lot of people are afraid of flying. That's
Ah.
why. Because like for me, like I'll be 1,000%. The first time I rode a freaking plane, I was a total bitch. I was like, I'm dead. I'm gonna die. I will. It's like I love you all. Deuces, everybody. And I get on the plane, and I'm all like, I'm gonna die. We take off. I'm all scared. I'm scared. And we get to the top. I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. This is fine. And then we start to land, and I go, oh God, we're gonna die. And then we land, and I get off the plane. I'm all like, oh, it's like a roller coaster. I was scared, and then there was no reason to be. But it was an irrational fear. Irrational. It didn't make any sense, and it still doesn't. But it's funny to tell. So anyways, and hopefully, and this is the reason why it's so important that I connect music to those silly stories, because that way I always remember the stories. Because God knows I would hate the situation of, oh, I'm 63 years old. I do not know my name, nor do I know where my pants are. It's like, no, that's not what I want to be. Or at least I want to know my name if I can't find my pants. All right, so let's see here. The researchers found that engaging in musical activities increased the brain's gray matter in some areas, which increased its neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, which is crucial for learning and forming memories. That is fascinating. See, I remember being told about 10 years ago or so that the brain, its plasticity actually slowed down and even to some extent stopped at a certain point. And so that's interesting. I'm glad to hear that the science has changed. And also the idea that you can stimulate the growth of gray matter, that's fascinating. Because gray matter is essentially one of the materials that's utilized for connecting synapses and being able to connect various endings to be able to fully process and create neural pathways that allow you to do a whole bunch of things, not just learn certain things, but also help in the processing of information too, and being able to take information you've learned and take it from one point to another. So that's fascinating. Ooh, very, very interesting. I did not know that was possible.
I like the next one too.
Ah, yes. All right. In terms of actively practicing music, a 2023, that's recent, study also suggested that long-term music training may provide potential functional benefits to the brain and help keep it young. See, and this is why one of my friends is helping me learn to play the guitar. This is how I stay healthy. Remember this, if you're watching this, which I probably think there's a reasonable chance you are, know that when you're teaching me the guitar, you're keeping me young. Thank you. And once I've learned enough thing, I'll embarrass myself in front of all of you guys. Oh, man.
Look for it on Patreon. I'm kidding.
I know, right? Look for it in about a year on Patreon, a series of spoof things that will make you cry, laugh, and potentially shit yourself.
I was expecting cringe to be on one of that listing.
Oh no, it's assumed. That's assumed. Like, I think when you just click on Wicked Parley, it should just be assumed. This is going to be cringe. You're going to look at this and be like, oh, I don't know if I really want to watch this.
It's like, do I really want to watch this?
And then you watch it and you slowly go, okay, that's sort of interesting. That's kind of funny. That's really fucking stupid. Oh, this hurts to watch. We're going to click it off. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Anyways. Let's go on.
All right.
Such findings make music a potentially powerful tool in treating dementia, which is characterized by an array of symptoms that include, but do not, memory loss and difficulties with thinking, language, and problem solving. I was gonna make it like an ad read. You're like symptoms may include death, other things that are unpleasant, and of course a loose bowel. Because, that's the last thing you want to hear. You want to hear death up front. You want to know that this thing could potentially kill you.
Just bye-bye.
Well, you've heard those, like, medicine commercials, right? You're like, oh, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then
The
you're like,
side effects, which sound worse than the thing you're treating it for.
Exactly. Symptoms may include shortness of breath, stiff muscle movements, loss of limbs, potentially life-risking things, and up to and including death. You're like, excuse me?
It's like, pardon? I could die from this? All I wanted to do was treat my allergies.
I know, right? You're like, I just didn't want to have to blow my nose in June. What the fuck is this? Oh my god!
Terrible, absolutely terrible.
Yeah, no, it's pretty rough. All right, so music as a connector. Now this is gonna kind of like go on my guess here. Let's see if I'm right. From earlier, one other way music may help cognitive health is by becoming a medium for connection. And for those of you guys who aren't familiar with what cognitive means, it means to think. It is thinking. It's like...
I should have gotten that poo thinking gift.
I know, right? That totally would be a thing.
Think.
Yeah, something for the future. Multiple studies have shown that social isolation, and loneliness, can speed up the progression of dementia. Okay. All right, folks. I can't be alone. Don't make me alone. Okay. All right. I don't want to be alone. That's
no,
cool.
I'm just thinking of like everything from the pandemic then.
I know. Well, here's a question. Are you alone if you're talking to someone on like via some sort of equipment like a phone or a computer? Is that alone? Or do they mean like alone like no one talks to you?
I'm not quite sure because people can still feel lonely even when they're surrounded by people.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
So it's just like,
I mean, could you imagine all right, you're like that one guy who's just thinks a little bit contrarian to everyone else, and everyone else kind of thinks pretty much the exact opposite. You could feel very socially isolated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely not speaking from experience.
It's like, oh yeah, and then you get those skeptics or just pain assholes. So it's like, oh yeah, you're surrounded by people. There's no reason for you to feel lonely. You don't know their life.
Yeah, for real though.
It's like, just because in this one instance they're surrounded by people doesn't mean they're fully close to every single one of them. Hello.
No, hello.
Don't speak when you're not in their shoes. Exactly,
because everyone wants to speak for everyone else. Everyone's just a little bit of tiny dictator inside. Yeah, it's like, shut up.
Either a tiny dictator or a tiny dick.
That's a whole nother conversation. We're not prepared to talk about that tonight, and
you know what? Fair enough.
Maybe we can talk about that on Patreon sometime. You can really go into a full in-depth discussion about this, and I'll just sit there quietly nodding.
She's like, I'm just not gonna argue. She's just ranting.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I'll tell you what. If you guys want to hear Rose talk about tiny dick, then let us know in the comment section below and say, hey, tiny dick for Patreon, and all the way. Or just and thumbs up tiny dick. That's okay. Or you know what? Not even that. Say tiny eggplant. I'll be okay with that too.
Tiny emoji eggplant.
Yeah, there you go. That way you just get all that energy out there, and the world can know how you feel about that. Which yeah. Anyways, let's see here. The singer-songwriter said she believes the art in general, not just music, can be medicinally powerful. What the fuck?
Somebody forgot spaces.
Okay. Yeah. Be medicinally powerful. That's definitely forgetting some space right there. Or maybe they didn't and they just intentionally fuck it up. Extending its power beyond a form of entertainment. Because music is all pervasive, it's not something that requires the people to get up and dance or draw. Someone can just absorb the frequencies and the words and this whole soundscape. Yeah, that's like tuning out. That's just like, I guess that's music now, right? And just, or me listening to modern music, just with my head on my forehead going, why? For me, definitely music was always this kind of powerful resource that I used to feel good. Heck yeah, everyone uses it to feel good. Definitely W, when you have seen
Jesus.
the responses I've seen it to music, you have infinite respect and appreciation for it, she said. Someone didn't correct some shit. They definitely yeah, okay, cool. Oh, hey, random pop-up courtesy of your friendly neighborhood pop-up ad. Okay, being in complete silence. However, as much as sound and music have an impact on our health, the lack of it, silence, is just as, if not more, impactful. Well, fuck. I am loud as fuck. I am always saying some bullshit. Why do you think I have a podcast? I need an outlet.
We know why you're really here.
Oh my god. How dare you put me on a spot like that? A 2020 study found... 2020? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right.
2020 hindsight year.
Yeah, we watching you. Study found that silence can be relaxing and therapeutic, reducing brainwave frequency, all the while lowering blood pressure. Yep, because that's what you want. You want lower blood pressure. You want things just to be really just low and reduced and tranquil, and then you're in the ground dead.
How about no?
Indeed! No! Good God! I want sounds! I wanna be loud as fuck. I don't want to do... Anyways.
Alrighty then.
Indeed. I'm gonna be loud. Sorry. This is what it is.
As long as it's not like, to the point where I need earplugs around you.
Oh, no. We've already reached that point. Remember, I made you deaf already. In fact, research has also shown the detriment of too much noise and loud noises on cognitive health. Okay. A 2022 study indicated that chronic exposure to loud sounds, such as heavy traffic, may be a specific risk factor for dementia.
Well, shoot.
Well, okay.
The worst areas.
Well, so, what they're telling me is that I need to be very careful about where I live in the future. And there cannot be loud sounds or motor sounds of any kind. My question is, do roosters count as a loud noise?
Don't know.
You don't know?
Depends on how loud they crow.
I mean, enough to wake someone up in the morning, right?
I mean, that's the same as just any, natural alarm, I guess.
Okay, cool. So we are definitely thinking that roosters are not a problem. Good. Good to know. Okay. So far, they've answered some of my questions. They have intrigued me. They have made me interested in more things. I would be interested to know if anybody had any questions or have any things that potentially this article hasn't touched upon. So by the end of this particular episode, after we're done with this article, hopefully someone will have questions, and it will be blowing up the comment section. And I'm talking to you, host. I want random questions. I want all the questions. I know you're going to watch this thing.
You get to call that.
Do it. Kyle, also, you always have a smart thing to say. I'd like to hear too. Okay, where was I?
Our guest.
Be a guest. No, wrong thing. Oh God, is it beginning? Is this how dementia begins? No, you know what? That's not a funny thing to joke about. I'm sorry for all of you guys out there who might be experiencing that or developing it now. Our guest, Beatty, I hope I said that right, shared her thoughts on how complete silence impacted her, recounting her experience in what was the world's quietest room, where she recorded her Raw Space album. I'm going to say this. If she gets beaten by somebody, I would just like to say that's probably the worst fucking name ever, right? Beatty got beaten.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. It was right there. It made me just pop my head. I don't know. I'm a terrible person sometimes, okay? That is just fucking ridiculous.
Just a bop.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll continue. It was one of the most profound experiences I think I've ever had. It's something that I continually return to. Really? Oh, really? That must be really profound. Even now, it feels like it's almost become more relevant today, as the world's just gotten noisier, both literally in terms of sonically, but also informationally. We're getting bombarded from all angles with social media and notifications and all these things that are hitting us that are kind of frazzling us, she said.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you're kind of like projecting on your life. You know, like, I mean, my phone doesn't blow up all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. Kind of projected, you know what I'm saying, man? Okay, well, you know.
Want me to talk about the freaking Destiny raids?
Hey, whoa! Leave that alone. I can't scroll anymore. No.
You mean you can't scroll no more?
I can't scroll no more, man.
Interesting.
It done froze on me.
Give it a second. It's probably because of that darn pop-up ad.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, so
There you go.
see, look, the technical wizard does it again. Hey, don't gloss over her words. This is the quietest room. See, make sure look, it's exactly what I said. Okay, well, actually, no, it's not exactly what I said. What the fuck? It's a different quote. It's a different quote.
Yeah, that's a different quote, man.
But it's still by Beatty Wolf. Okay, that's a kind of a... So she beats wolves? That's her name? Okay. Weird. I don't know who the fuck this person is. I'm gonna hope you don't sound bad. You feel silence. It's almost like you feel this entire sensory reset, and your nervous system calms down, and you hear sound in this pure way with no echo, no reverb, and no enhancements. That's interesting. That's a weird way of saying it, but that's interesting. I mean, like, it kind of reminds me of like the sensory deprivation tanks. You know, like where you like go in like this like pod looking thing that's filled like halfway with water, and you just kind of float there.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds what it kind of sounds like, and those things sound like something that I would love to experience it, although it'd be kind of fucking frightening. I'm not gonna lie. Like I would like legitimately be scared. Like honestly,
very frightening.
I'd be like, I need like an escape hatch, like an extra hatch. I need to be able to kick this fucking thing open if I need to. Like,
Just emergency button. Bye.
I know,
You need your little red button to get
it's
there.
like it flushes the water out. You're like, all right, and we're free.
All right.
Okay. Anyways, all right, and you realize that we use technology almost now so excessively to iron out all of these things that are actually what make us human beings to begin with. Okay, so you're trying. Oh my god, I fucking hate that.
What?
Well, okay, look, don't get me wrong. People use a lot of fucking technology, all right? There's a lot of things that we're surrounded by. I mean, like, I constantly am surrounded by technology. I mean, I choose it, but, like, I am surrounded by a lot of tech, you know? If it is not the computer I'm recording on, the TV screen I'm watching, the phone that's at my hip, the smart speaker in my kitchen and bedroom and living room, you know, like, it's, you know, it makes, like, I get it. There's a lot of tech around this, you know? But here's the thing. You could turn it all off. You know, like, I don't think everyone forgets what it means to be human. So, like, I don't know. That kind of like, that's that statement there, that last bit. It offends me a little bit. I don't know. It struck a chord with me, you know?
He's like, I'm a human being.
I'm a human being.
A small human being.
Well, I'm not small. You're small. I'm not small.
Tiny.
Okay. If you're tiny, then I'm just enormous.
Monolith.
Jesus. One of these days, like we're gonna get like one of those like screenshots, like from like way back in the early days of production when we were like measuring things. And there's that one picture of us like standing next to each other, and you like barely make it to like my stomach, like in height.
Yeah.
And just like, oh my god, you're like half a person.
Tiny monolith.
Either she's half a person or I'm like two people.
Half the person, but double the food.
Yeah, that's for real, man. God. On Patreon, we should release like a picture of like what happens when you eat something and it's just gone. Like it's like this huge pile of food, and then like you're like, where the fuck did it go?
He's like, oh yeah, 30 minutes later, bye.
I have a friend who can eat, okay?
Nice.
He's notorious for eating all the time. I genuinely believe you eat more. Definitely, his name definitely starts with a D. All those out there who know who I'm talking about.
All right.
Anyways, okay, so let this article continue. So it's interesting. It's fascinating. It's a little long. I ain't gonna lie. It's a little long.
Yeah, a bit. We've been pausing quite a bit.
Oh yeah, because we're discussing things.
Yeah.
All right. Anywho, all right.
You seem to enjoy.
Yes. Yeah, I bet you did, huh? BD seemed to enjoy the experience much more than most people do, and end up spending quite a few hours in that very chamber.
I need a bonk.
Okay, like, if you like read that out of context, it means something totally different. Sorry.
I need to just get you with a bat.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No,
Do I not?
Not at all.
Really?
Not
really?
even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Although blood apparently is rushing, so I mean, like, I was told that I'd probably be able to stay in there for 15 minutes because you hear the blood rushing through your veins, and engineers typically had to take breaks because it was so intense. I ended up spending, I think it was 100 hours or more, she said. Yeah, this is like one of those like discreet like braggart kind of things, you know? It's like, yeah, they only spent like 15 minutes, but you know what I did? I did like 100 hours. It was like
in one setting? Did you sleep in there?
There's no fucking way, man.
It's like, did you hear yourself snore?
Oh my god, I did that once, and I literally woke myself up. I had like really bad allergies, and like I was like, and I felt I was like sleeping at a weird angle, and I heard myself snore, and it woke me up. Like I snored so loud it woke me up.
Okay, it is like breaks just based on the next sentence.
Yeah. I ended up being in there for the first time for several hours. Just found it so calming. Maybe I'm an anomaly. Okay. But I had the opposite reaction to the freak out that people have, which I think is also about really being with yourself. I do think there's an element of it in the chamber. You are there very much with yourself. There are no distractions. There's nothing to pull you out of the internal space, she continued. You know, I would be willing to bet some people do that shit and take drugs. And that's the people who freak out. You know, it's like, I don't, like, where the fuck is this? You know what? I actually don't care. I don't care. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to read this next one, and we're going to put the rest of it on, what's it called?
The description?
On the description, yeah.
Okay.
Because this is a pretty long article, and it goes into a lot of depth. I think that, for me, I have a lot of questions about this, and I think the article will cover it, but I don't want us to be here for 3 hours. So, you know, I feel like, because, like, I want you guys to know this. We've barely gotten through 20% of the article. We're pretty close to 40 minutes. So yeah, I'm just gonna let you guys know, like, there's no way we're going through this. I'm gonna be super honest with the audience because that's what it is. I always know. I will be fucking truthful to you to the best of my ability. If I do something wrong, call it out, and I'll look into it. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. Like that thing with Kyle and the gerrymandering and the red line thing. He called me out. It's true. I was wrong. He was right. There ain't nothing wrong with that. People learn. Anyways, so knowing lyrics over names. Man, this is where you write a song that you memorize with all your loved ones' names in it. This is how you do this. You're like a list of random people. You're like John and Joe and Mary and Susan and going on. It's like a random.
Just do literally a family tree song.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, just like list your family tree. It's totally actually, like, for me that'd be difficult, but like, you know, it's you know, for most people it's fine. You know, this is fine. Anyways, but yeah, that is how you do that. That's how you get around the whole thing. You just gotta work it out in advance, you know, and just make sure that the song corresponds to an instrument you're playing. That way, it's just you got it. Dementia, beaten right here. On the topic of recalling song lyrics but not remembering one's own children's names, for people with dementia, Dr. Geit drew attention to repetition and how music can activate many brain regions and networks simultaneously. We've talked about this, the globality of music in the brain. But the repetition of a child's name is something that's happened through life, where the song may be kind of once a month or once a year. How can we explain that? She asked.
Unless you put it on repeat.
Dr. Jabowski said
Jabowski.
fill in words of the song was related to procedural memory. So procedural memory are something like remembering motor sequences, like being able to ride a bike, right? I don't know if I forgot to ride a bike. I haven't ridden a bike in years. I'm
pretty sure my cousin actually forgot how to swim.
Okay, that's fucking wild. But all right, I mean, hey, there are weird things. I haven't ridden a bike in at least like an actual bike, not like a workout bike, but like an actual like bike.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta be approaching like 15, 20 years, something like that. It's been a while. It's been a long while.
Been a long while?
Yeah, pretty much ever since, I could ride a bus or a car. Any kind of bike was like, what's this? It's like, all right. Anyways. Where the hell was I? So when people might not have this kind of systematic memory anymore for names and places, they still have this kind of memory for the motor sequences of singing along lyrics. Probably because they've sang along to that song lots of times before, or at least sang along in their minds lots of times before to that piece of music, she said. She also said that the brain may spare certain parts of this type of memory, which could explain why some people are able to recall lyrics or play an old song on an instrument even though they have dementia. If someone had played the piano previously, often they can continue to play those familiar pieces on the piano even quite far into the disease, she said. That is impressive. Honestly, that is very, very impressive. I think that like when it comes to most things regarding music, when it comes to lyrics, when it comes to learning how to play instruments, these things, go into so many different facets, as the article kind of indicated, that I feel like of course it makes sense. I wouldn't say it's common sense, but it makes a lot of sense to me that happens. And so I would say, if you are interested in making sure that you never forget your loved ones' names, create a song, learn how to play an instrument, and create that song and play it on repetition for years. And that way you will safeguard against, forgetting other things. And also, just as a side note, if you're particularly bad at birthdays, anniversaries, like random important events in life, make a song, sing it, because who knows, maybe that's how you'll remember these things in the future. And if you have any cool comments or you thought you learned something, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. This, of course, has been a pre-recording, and hopefully we will return, to a live show broadcast probably 1 week from when this particular episode airs, if not 2. So if you made it to this point, stay tuned for future, more interesting content coming to you on YouTube and other places, hopefully soon. Yes. And with that, have yourself a lovely musical rest of your evening. Good night, everybody.